Yo, what's good, y'all? Today I'm gonna be teaching you how to get your first self-lob dunk or just try to get it consistently. Let's get it. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna talk to you about is the toss, okay, or the lob. You gotta practice it like shooting a basketball, right? But I was taught, right, when I shoot a basketball, soft touch. So it's the same concept with the self lob, right? So when you're shooting it right or when you're tossing it, you're not too hard, right, or else it's gonna go all over the place. A soft touch allows you to have control and it allows you to predict where the ball is going to be. If I were you, right, if I'm trying to get my first self lob dunk, all I would do is just try and rep it out and just try to visualize where I want the ball to be when I go and get that dunk. I ain't no physics guy, all right? But the higher the ball goes, the higher it'll go off the ground, okay? So I don't know if you've seen my videos. I toss the ball hella high because it allows me to get a nice high lob. It's easier for you to get the ball when you dunk when the ball is higher. We wanna toss the ball around the restricted area. So nice and high, okay? And it should be just in front of the rim and around the restricted area and just around the rim. So before I would even attempt any self-lob dunks, I would just practice the lob and just visualize where I want the ball to be when I dunk. So the next part of the self-lob is the timing, okay? So I like to tell guys, separate yourself from the ball. Most common mistake that I see when guys do the self-lob is that they go with the ball, meaning when they toss it, they're instantly going. Okay, and that's harder. You get to a higher level, you can get away with that, right? But I'm assuming, right, if we're trying to get our first one or we're just trying to be consistent with it, we want to separate ourselves from the ball so then we're able to go get it. You want to make sure that when you toss it, okay, you're waiting for the ball to go up before you go. Separating yourself from the ball is a good cue to be behind the ball. So when you jump, you can just go get it. How do I cue the timing? How do I get my timing better? What I like to do and what a lot of other dunkers do. Shout out Tony Crosby. I think he's honestly one of the first guys I got this from, and it's worked for me wonders. So I like to gallop before I go for my lobs. Now I'm not flat-footed basically before I throw that lob because I'm preparing myself to go and get that lob. I like to teach guys whenever they're trying to get their first self-lob dunk to cue themselves to do something before they go and get that so they know it's go time. So the visual cue is as soon as that ball's in the air, I'm looking at it, right? And again, it goes back to the toss, right? That has to be the first thing you get down because you have to trust that your lob is going to be there and you know where that ball is going to be. Try and attempt, right? Don't stop yourself from missing. That's not what I'm saying. But when you're lobbing it, it's giving you a better chance to know where that ball is so you can get that dunk in, right? Everything is just experience and reps, and it's different for everyone, right? But objectively, the practice of that lob is gonna help you time it and then help you, right, be behind it as well. Nice and high, gallop, go. Okay, that was a bad toss. Let me try that again. Up, and then go. Right, so you see I'm behind that ball. For the next part of the self-lob is the hand placements. When you're dunking, try not to catch it with one hand. That's pretty hard. When we catch it, right, we want to make sure that we're pushing our so if I'm right-handed, right, our non-dominant hand, which is my left hand, is going to push it towards my right hand, right? It's going to help me control and get under that ball. So the last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to the self-lob is angles. So I'd recommend going from the middle. My first dunk, right, I put it in the middle, okay? And it literally was right by the rim. It was like a perfect lob and there was literally no excuse for me not to dunk it. Angles and jump technique, right? I'll make a jump technique video later on, but you got to make sure that is right, okay? Because if your jump technique is not good, you're not going to be able to get this lob. So making sure that you just work on your technique, right? Making sure that you are grabbing rim, okay? And also 10-6 is, or 10-6, 10-5 is the minimum to dunk a basketball. Well, if you're over it, you definitely can get a self lob, but if you're around it, you can probably just squeeze it in by someone else lobbing it to you. So that's also just a fair warning as well. That is today's video, how to get your first self lob dunk. I hope you learned something from me today and hope you can apply it to your dunk journey. And if you find this video useful, and if you get your first self-lob dunk or if you have any attempts, you can DM me on Instagram, Lorenzana Dunks, and let me know, and I'll be happy to see it and critique you and give you some tips. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.